Hey, Washington campus, Brad here, and I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. This has been a crazy year, right? And I know for most of us, Thanksgiving is probably going to look a little bit different this year. But we can still give thanks, and whenever I think of Thanksgiving, I am reminded of the time when Jesus healed 10 guys, but only one of them came back to give him thanks. You can find this in Luke 17. Luke tells us that as Jesus was going into a village, these 10 men who had leprosy, they called out to him. They cried out to Jesus. They were some ways away because of their condition. They weren't allowed to be in the city or near people, and so they had to keep their distance. That's what the law prescribed. And so they called out to Jesus with a very loud voice, asking him to have mercy on them. Well, Jesus hears them, and he responds, and he tells them to go and show themselves to the priest, which would have been the custom of the law, what they were required to do. And as they were going, Luke tells us in Luke 17:14, they were cleansed. They were healed of their leprosy. Now, this happens in verse 15. It says, "Now one of them, when he saw that he had been healed, he turned back, glorifying God with a loud voice. And he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving thanks to him, and he was a Samaritan." And so one of the 10 turns back. And now what's interesting is to see how Jesus responds. You might think he would say, "Oh, thank you, or you're welcome, no problem, go and go in peace." But Jesus has a fascinating response. He says, "Were there not 10 cleansed? But the other 9, where are they?" So some obvious things we can draw away from this passage, this time when Jesus heals these 10 guys and only one comes back. And that is that God desires and expects us to be thankful and to give thanks for the things that he has done in our lives. But the other thing I want to challenge you with is this. If you think of this story in Luke 17, don't miss what happens. The men who need help, they cry out to Jesus with a loud voice. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. When we are in difficult times, when we're at our wits' end, when we are at the end of our rope, when we are frustrated, exasperated, when we have nowhere else to turn, it is more than okay to cry out to God for help with a loud voice, to let him know how much we are hurting, how much we need him. But don't miss the fact that the one who came back to give thanks, he also gave thanks and glorified God with a loud voice. And that's where I think we could probably use some encouragement, right? Is that when God answers our prayers, do we thank him? Do we praise him? Do we glorify him just as loudly, just as emphatically as we did when we were asking for help? So as you gather around your table, whatever that's going to look like for you and your family this Thanksgiving, I just want to encourage you. I know you're going to, but let's give thanks, not just on Thanksgiving, but obviously we want to give thanks at all times. And let's do that with a loud voice. Let's let other people know, and let's let God know how much we appreciate what he does for us. So as you gather around a table on Thanksgiving, I hope you have a great time and you have a good time of giving thanks. And speaking of the table, I'm excited because beginning this Sunday, we're going to begin a new sermon series about the table, about the experiences and encounters that Jesus had with people around tables. And so we're going to look at different things, the way he interacted with different people, because we're all in different places, right? Some of us are struggling with restlessness. Some of us are feeling broken. Some of us are lonely. And that's what we're going to look at this Sunday. I'm going to be sharing a message from Luke chapter 7 about a time when Jesus got invited to dinner, and at that dinner, an unexpected guest came up, did something that was unexpected, and that just turned everything upside down. And at the end of it, people are just left amazed at who Jesus is. So I'm excited about that. So again, hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Hope to see you this coming Sunday. But until I see you again, let's press on.